Thank you. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Art Benedetto, Superintendent of Schools.
Joe Piccirillo, Assistant Superintendent.
We're here to talk to you with some updates on items that you may consider to be of importance. We'd like to start off about the Hudson Maxim School. As you know, we did get a buyer for that school. That buyer had a significant period of time to do their due diligence on whether or not they wanted to complete the deal. We gave them one extension of time for that process, and then they asked for a second extension of time. And the Board of Education and myself, we were quite disappointed about this. The result was a unanimous vote by the Board of Education to go up for resale. So at the current time, we are finalizing a new set of bid specs that will put us back to square one on the sale of that building. We continued to get people of interest even after we had entered into contract with the other group. So I am looking forward to the possibility of getting this sale done in an appropriate time. I probably have at least 3 or 4 leads right now on groups or individuals who are interested in doing it. But we will be going out to bid. The process is we go out to bid. If we get bidders and we accept them, the building is sold. Then we go through another process of due diligence where they have time to make final decisions. If we don't get bidders, or if the bids are not to our liking, we can reject them. By law, we go out a second time. If the same thing happens, we can then sell it to any party that the board is interested in working with. So we have some legal ramifications to take care of, and I'm looking forward to the process once again. Put on my real estate hat and ready to go. In the winter, I always wear a hat, so it's a good thing. Joe, anything to...
And I know the Land Use Board in Hopatcong has been looking at how we're selling this property and is interested in working with us, and that's really great news. And so we would be really open to sitting down, myself and Mr. Di Benedetto sitting down and having a conversation about how we could work together to make that happen. Where we would really look forward to that opportunity, and hopefully we can get this building sold and get someone in there that can help this community and move forward with
the opening has gone. We are somewhat blessed, and I mean that we have dealt with a few obstacles that cropped up, but we've handled them well. I'm going to ask Joe to detail some of the preparations that we made starting back in July, from our reopening plan to what we purchased, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Stuff that put us in a better spot than we may have imagined at the time, but it was well worth the early work. Joe, you want to talk about July and August prep?
Sure, and I'm sure the audience that's viewing this video will be probably very aware of many of these steps. So you'll understand that we had a committee that we had to form. This included administrators, included teachers, included nurses, custodial crew, security, parents, all the way through. We had a district committee. We met. We had building level committees. You community members, you met with us in 2 single issue meetings just about this summer. All of that came together toward making a plan that was then sent to the county office for approval. By now you're very familiar with our plan, which was in essence an A week and a B week, students on for a week, off for a week. Of course, you had the option to go completely virtual, and we have probably a third to maybe a little more in some schools that are completely virtual. But through this process, we also relied heavily on grant assistance that came from the government that allowed us to purchase extra technology so that students could have full access to the internet. We don't have a single student in Hopatcong that does not have access to the internet now, so they're able to attend their classes virtually. Every student has a Chromebook or an iPad. This is another huge expansion for us. And additionally, we've put some technology pieces in place in the classroom for teachers, which includes cameras that are mounted to the ceiling for teachers to have synchronous classes run. So all of that was incredible technology preparation. From a health perspective, we've installed plexiglass, installed negative air filtration, everything you could imagine in terms of hand sanitizers and cleaning supplies. Because truthfully, I want the public to understand, Art and I don't get together and say, how could we clean a room? There's an incredible amount of protocols that are given to us from the state of New Jersey. Much of that comes from consultation with the CDC, local health departments. So we are following the letter of the law as closely as we can. We're educators. We are certified in school as school administrators. We never went to medical school. Well, maybe he did. He's gone to school a lot. But I've never gone to medical school. But we are working very closely with our nurses, our custodial team, to make this a possibility. And so far, Mr. D said, yeah, we've been very blessed and successful in the fact that we've had a couple of health situations, but none of which were COVID. I was very open with the public in the summer, saying every September comes, allergies crop up, somebody gets a cold, somebody gets pink eye, strep throat, bronchitis. These things will continue to happen whether there's a pandemic or not. Luckily, we've been able to identify symptoms, quarantine students as recommended by the CDC, make sure students go home if they're ill, and we have not had a positive test, and we're very thankful for that.
And that's not to say that we won't get one in the future, but as I said, we had one of the interesting things is called a probable case. So what does probable mean? In my humble opinion, something that's probable is more likely to happen than not happen. But nevertheless, we have a list of symptoms which identify a student or a staff member as probable, and that list of symptoms funnels down to a simple cough. I understand a fever. I don't understand a cough. I understand a sore throat, but I don't understand a runny nose. But all of those symptoms, we have to label them as probable cases, despite the fact that they've had no exposure to any COVID circumstance. And that's been a challenge. We've had 4 cases like that. That means some staff members are in quarantine. It also means that we don't always get consistent input from the Department of Health. And I'm not trying to blame the Department of Health. They are certainly doing a very good job of assisting us whenever they can. But sometimes, the same situation, we get told different things. And that's a little bit frustrating, but we can live with it. The bottom line is we have no real cases. The 4 probable cases, interestingly, 1 at each school, have been handled well by the nursing staff, the custodial staff. That's one area that I'm very pleased and happy with. Another item, we spent a lot of July accumulating items that we knew we were going to need in September. We spent a lot of money on masks, a lot of money on protective garments, a lot of money on sanitizers, to the point where we were well stocked by midsummer. And some schools have had an issue with PPE. Again, we've been lucky. We haven't had any issue, probably because we bought quite early. And that's been very helpful to us. We also spend a lot of time working on substitutes. We do have a half dozen teachers who have immune deficiencies, so they're working out of their home. But we've been able to find very excellent substitute teachers to replace them, and we replace them in different ways. Some are one-on-one replacements. Some are, the teachers are actually working from home and virtually, so we can put 2 or 3 classes together with 1 substitute supervisor. So it's working out very, very well. So the PPE and the substitutes have been reasons why some of our fellow school districts haven't been able to open, because they don't have that stuff ready. And very fortunately, we were.
There's another reason why I think we've been able to open and maybe other districts have had difficulty, and that's our teachers union has been really, really great. I mean, when we have a question or we have something we want to, look, you can't talk to a school district that doesn't have to do something different as a result of the pandemic. There's going to be something different in terms of how students interact with teachers and how the school day runs. We've been able to go to our teachers union leadership, throw an idea out there. They never say no on its face. They're always receptive, and they say, how can we make this work? And I can't imagine this process would have been as successful without them being so willing to make an effort and try some stuff out. And so we're really thankful for that.
For example, the State Education Association put forth a note talking about ventilation in schools. And the ventilation they recommended was hospital quality ventilation. That is not, it's not possible to change every ventilating system in a 4-school district. A, cost, B, time. It's not going to happen. So we do have the ventilation systems working at 100%, 24 hours a day. But again, the union was understanding on that. Their state association was saying one thing. They were agreeing that what we had was adequate. And that, again, as Joe said, that has been delightfully helpful to us. And one of our goals is to maintain a very strong working relationship with our union.
But as we start to see things improve, there was some trepidation, as anyone would have, starting the school year. Even though we felt we had a good plan, everybody still had a bit of trepidation because they had not seen it happen. Now we've had a couple weeks under our belt. We feel things have been moving well, and so we're at the point now where we're going to start to try to bring more students back. So, Mr. D, you want to talk about our first plan and where we're going to go from here?
Yeah. Our clientele knows that all first graders have been at school every day. There are the virtual children learning from home, but right now there was never an A and B schedule for first grade. We looked at that carefully. This week we started kindergarten students back. No more A, B for kindergarten. They're all in school. We're now looking at grades 2 and 3, and by the end of the day today, I will discuss with the principal the potential to bring second and third graders back. We're finding that one reason we're able to do this centers on very excellent cooperation we've been getting from families. It is a rare exception that a child does not come to school with a mask. Many parents, when our single issue meetings, were worried about what happens if kids don't want to wear masks. That hasn't been an issue. The kids have been great, even the little ones. We already mentioned how great the staff has been. So we have an interesting number of circumstances all meshing together to allow us to begin considering when we can bring more kids back.
And it's also just worth noting that somebody watching this will say, well, now you're going to have 100% capacity just like that. And it's important to remember there will still be a good portion of people opting out entirely, opting to go fully virtually. So even though we're at Durban, we have done this, and we're proposing we do this more moving to Tulsa, is we're getting rid of the A week and B week. But if you think of it in thirds, it was 33% at home, 33% A, and 33% B. Now you're still only at 2/3 capacity. So it is still less than would be full.
Last night we had committee meetings with the Board of Education and Vice President Francis. He just gave us an idea that floored me because he said, Art, you're bringing back kindergarten, you're bringing back first grade. How about the seniors? And to me, that's an excellent idea. The senior class, I mean, last year the high school kids lost out on their sports and activities. The senior class prom was canceled. We don't know if we're going to be able to do that, all that stuff this year. But I think we can bring the senior class back to school. And we'll have a discussion with Acting Principal Martinez to hopefully bring that idea to fruition. So, A, we're excited about how the reopening has gone. B, we're more excited about the potential of bringing additional kids back. C, we totally understand that if cases arise that are positively identified, we have to retreat a little bit, but 3 steps forward and 2 steps back is still progress, and that's what we're looking at right now. As one who's been around the block a few times in the administrative field, our dedication to the single topic of COVID and the peripheral items that we need to address because of it tend to cause us to forget some of the good stuff that happened and is happening. Last year, at the end of the school year, when we were closed, the district went through the QSAC process, and I must say that the amount of work that went into that was immense, and the outcome was we passed it. And we are so proud that we are considered to be a school district that's doing what it needs to do when it needs to do it, and that has been overshadowed by the virus. We additionally, over the summer, put in a brand new track. Every person in the community who I see on that track I talk to, just a brief, how do you like it? It's extremely popular. I can't even show the public the fitness center that we put in the high school because I can't get them in the building. But it is a truly excellent facility that derived from use of the cell tower revenue. I can't show anybody the cosmetology lab that's now functioning. And we have classes of kids learning about a trade, learning that they have the ability to be certified by the time they finish and can immediately get a job. So once this thing calms down, there will be a barrage of invitations sent out for people to see what we've been doing despite the cloud over our head of the virus. It's always an honor to talk to you. Thank you.